What's going on, guys? This is Jordan Miller. I'm the owner and founder of BreatheHeavy. Welcome to my third ever live stream. I really appreciate all the engagement. This has actually been something that's been gaining a lot of momentum very quickly, which I'm a little bit pleasantly surprised. So anything you can do, like subscribe, comment during this live stream, or if you're watching this after the fact, please drop me a comment. I'll respond to any comment that comes my way. So please drop me a line. Anything you can do engagement-wise for this channel would be greatly appreciated. The YouTube algorithm tends to love engagement and will show this to more people, which will hopefully mean more people subscribe, and then the channel begins to grow and I can do more of these live streams more frequently. I'm super excited about today's live stream. There is a lot to cover. I announced this morning, but in the time since, there's been a lot of Britney-related stuff that I'd like to cover in addition to some other things. So things that I want to cover in this live stream today include Britney. First, she dragged her family again recently, admits that she's had a glass of wine for the first time in 13 years. And most importantly, I think, she mentions that all the comments on her Instagram, not all of them, but a lot of them, there's been a lot of negativity headed her way. And she admits to reading these negative comments. It's important to know that because not long after that post, Britney's Instagram account turned off comments. And so there's like this theory on Exhale, which, by the way, if you don't know what Exhale is, it's the community that resides on BreatheHeavy. There's a rumor that Britney's reading BreatheHeavy and saw that a lot of the readers there on Exhale were saying like she should turn off her comments, whatever. And lo and behold, the very next day, that's what happened. So I can't say one way or the other. I'm not going to speculate. I just found that to be interesting. And along the lines of this whole Instagram comment thing, then Britney posts these not safe for life photos on the gram, and it just kind of caused a big flurry of attention and engagement on BreatheHeavy. And so I would love to unpack that. And then I want to touch on Britney possibly buying Bored Ape, which is an NFT. I find that to be super interesting. And then I want to comment on Lynn Spears warning Britney, please be careful. A couple of the other items that I want to talk about: Adele's releasing a new single off 30. It's one of my favorite songs off the album. It's called Oh My God. So it's a bop for Adele. So I'm looking forward to that. The Grammys are reportedly pushing back the awards ceremony indefinitely. There's no deadline in sight. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with that. And Billie Eilish, she is reportedly headlining Coachella. So I want to talk about that. I think that's super important. There's a milestone there. So stick around for that. And then last but not least, Jason Derulo got into a physical altercation with some guys who called him Usher. So a lot to unpack. There's a lot to go down. I'm going to try to get this all under 30 minutes. So stick around. But before I dive into the video in full, we'll play that intro. Okay, sorry if your volume was up high. I keep meaning to turn the volume down on that, so my apologies. Let's get right into it. The first thing I want to talk about, like I mentioned, is Britney dragging her family, and what I'm going and amongst other things. What I'm gonna do, like the other two live streams, I'm going to show you this news story on Exhale and kind of walk you through the nitty gritty, the need to know items. So I'm going to share my screen here, and we'll kick this off. What you're going to see is Exhale. First things first. Hold on. All right, here we go. All right, so what you're looking at, this is the kind of the start of everything. Britney talks about how her family is selfish. She captioned all of this with just a photo of flowers, seemingly innocent. And she talks about how her family is very selfish, and she kind of is a little sarcastic through the tone of the rest of this. You can get a look at this if you go on her Instagram, but I think the thing that we really want to kind of dive into is her saying, yes, I read the comments and people are absolutely hateful. Now, one thing that I find to be a little bit of a bummer about that is that there is also so much positive comments that are left on her Instagram. I would say the overwhelming majority of comments that people leave are positive. However, obviously, I have no idea what it's like to have that kind of volume of engagement that Britney gets, but I can speak for myself in that there are often times where I will personally get a lot of positive comments, and it only takes like one or two negative comments to kind of bring you down. And for some reason, it's just the negative ones stick in your mind. I think it kind of deals with this like survival mode, defense mechanism thing where you just need to feel needed and feel belong to the world. And if people threaten that, that's obviously problematic. So I think she's kind of just feeling sensitive to this, rightfully so. And so what I find interesting about this is it leads to the very next thing, which is, oh, there we go. It leads to the very next thing, which is Britney turning off her Instagram comments. So what I'm going to do is pull that news story up on Exhale next, and we'll kind of unpack that. If you're watching, drop me a line in the comments. Let me know what you think about Britney turning off her Instagram comments. I personally think that, you know, there are certainly times and places for this. I think right now, if she's feeling like, you know, she's feeling a little sensitive to everything, I think it was a good move to you know, cut off the ability to leave a comment, whether they're good or bad. Just kind of give herself some space, similarly to what she did a few months ago when she deactivated her account altogether when her and Sam Asghari announced their engagement, and people were kind of rude about it. So this right here that I'm about to pull up, this is the post that first appeared, and you realize that you can't comment. And so this topic, people are kind of discussing like what that means for Britney when her comments are turned off. There's a bunch of conspiracy theories, but I do genuinely think it was Britney's decision to do this. I don't think it was anyone else's. It is worth mentioning at one point, her attorney, Matt Rosengart, said that these are Britney's communications. So it leads me to believe that this was Britney's decision to turn off the Instagram comments. As you can see here, normally there would be, you know, a comment count and you'd be able to add a comment, but obviously you can't. So that leads us to this next post, which happened today. And as a result, there's literally thousands of people on BreatheHeavy currently at this moment looking at this topic. And it's of Britney posting a pretty risque photo. And I'm going to pull that up in just a moment here. And I find this to be a couple things. One, I think, good for you, Britney. Good for you for you know, kind of living your best life, and for, you know, putting yourself out there in that way. I know that the photo is getting a lot of heat from people, like it being, you know, a little too not safe for work. But you also have to keep in mind that she was in a situation that controlled her for many, many years, and this is a bit of a rebellious act, but it's in some ways is her taking ownership again of her own body when the conservatorship was a tool to control her and her body. She literally wasn't allowed to have a child because of the conservatorship. So in some ways, I think that this is a very freeing thing for her to do, and I can understand the reasoning behind that. The flip side is like people are saying, well, she has 2 teenage sons, and she's seeing this, and that's not necessarily quote unquote right. I also can see that side of the coin as well. I mean, I'm not quite sure what to think about that. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Please, you know, mention something in the comments what you think about this photo. I'm about to pull it up right here. YouTube hopefully doesn't. I'm just gonna keep it here, just for YouTube's sake. But yeah, it's a pretty risque photo, and within, I would say, it's only been an hour and some change. There's already been 13 pages of comments, and every page has 20 replies. So literally hundreds of replies on Exhale right now. I'll drop a link to this post in the description so you can check it out after the fact. Kind of read what people are saying about this. But the replies are kind of all over the map. I think in the beginning it was very much like people are feeling a certain type of way about this. Some people are like, yes, Britney, go. Some are just like not here for it. So you're going to see a whole bunch of different replies from people. Again, my 2 cents is like, look, she's been controlled for so long. If she wants to post a naked photo, like it's not even completely naked, obviously, because Instagram, you know, wouldn't allow that. But it's like, you do you, you know. I do see the side of like about her sons, and I also like I wonder what her fiance Sam Asghari thinks about it. But at the end of the day, it's not for anyone else to decide to publish these kinds of things. It's Britney's decision, and that's something that we rooted for and fought for literally a decade plus. And so for her to be able to exercise that right, me personally, I say go for it, Britney. Okay, moving right along. Oh, Here was that banner, just in case. I'm still new to this, so. Next thing I want to talk about is Britney potentially buying an NFT. If you don't know what an NFT is, I only got 20 minutes left, so there's just zero way I can explain it. But it's essentially through the blockchain, and it's a whole new frontier, and you're going to hear more and more about it. I personally find it very interesting. I love the whole cryptocurrency side of things. Apparently, if this is Britney, and what I'm going to do is pull up this next news report from Exhale. If this is indeed Britney, she apparently bought this under an alias. And the alias is a lot of warm heart. And what's funny about that is because that's a very Britney alias. And she probably has even used this in the past. I think she's actually mentioned this before. So some people are speculating that, this is actually someone pretending to be Britney. This is actually all unverified. I should say that to begin with. So this isn't your typical news show. This is a little more like, this is the tea. This is unverified. I personally wasn't able to verify this one way or the other. If this is true, if this is indeed Britney under this alias, then she purchased these two NFTs, which obviously are digital art. And what makes this special is that she owns, in theory, if this is her, she owns the original. So while there could be a bajillion duplications of this image, Britney owns the actual original. And so that creates value, because obviously it's like, imagine, this is obviously is not a Picasso, but imagine like having the original Picasso versus like a duplicate of it. Obviously the original is going to be far, far, far more valuable and lucrative than, a duplication of it. So these are the two that she apparently bought. And it was purchased on OpenSea, which is like an NFT purchasing platform. And it was part of the Bored Ape Yacht Club. And I did a little research to figure out like, what is this? And I'm going to just show you. There are many different variations of this Bored Ape. And so you can see these are the originals that you could technically purchase. This artist is obviously doing very well for themselves. It's essentially just a way of like investing. So, the reason why I bring this up is because if, Britney has control over her estate at this point, or at least is en route to it, while there's some things being held up in the court. She's able to kind of make these decisions and have more access to her money, and where she hasn't had that for 13 years. So if this is indeed her purchasing these things, I definitely could see people being like, why is she buying an ape art or whatever? And it's like, this is her, and this is an investment. This is actually pretty forward thinking. I'm sure she's obviously been speaking with some sort of financial people. If this is even her, this could very well just have been somebody else. But, it is worth mentioning that it was $265-something thousand to purchase that. So not anybody can just go and impersonate someone with that kind of money. And apparently they also purchased a domain name that was BritneySpears.eth, which is Ethereum. That's a type of cryptocurrency. So there's a lot of like smoking guns here, a lot of like breadcrumbs on the trail. So just let's suspend belief and then assume this is her. I'll circle back with you in another live stream to see if there's any follow-up with this, but I just found that to be really interesting because I personally like crypto and investments and NFTs, and it just happened to fall into the realm of Britney Spears. So I thought that was pretty cool. Moving right along, there's an item about Lynn Spears warning, Britney, please be careful. And this is a little bit clickbaity, this article right here. This was showing up on Exhale, and I got a lot of people's attention because it sounds a little threatening. But actually, in reality, Lynn Spears was commenting on one of Britney's photos that she took where she's on this motorcycle recently. I covered that in the last live stream. And she says, just remember your brother and his body cast from his motorcycle. Please be careful. So then, of course, you have a bunch of people replying, including in Exhale, being like, oh, now she cares about Britney and all that. Look, there's a lot to unpack when it comes to Britney's family and her mom. Britney recently said that Lynn Spears was someone who was kind of the mastermind behind the conservatorship in the first place. So there's a lot of vitriol towards Lynn. I personally don't want to spread any hate towards her. I think the family could use a lot of healing. There's a lot of trauma that's gone on. But I did find that any sort of interaction that Britney's family has with her at this point is interesting to me because I would imagine a lot of it's not happening behind the scenes. I think Lynn Spears is reaching out like this because she doesn't have another means of communication with Britney. I'm sure she obviously does, but Britney's probably just like, look, I need to do my thing right now. It's 2022. I don't want to deal with the drama. I need to kind of move forward, whatever that looks like for Britney. All right, so now that we got the Britney items out of the way, hopefully the live stream, hopefully you don't drop off. Stay tuned because we got a couple more interesting items. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on some of these other things that aren't just Britney related. It would mean a lot to me. So if you're just tuning in now, hi, please like and subscribe. It would be greatly appreciated. The subscribe count, I'm trying to grow. I'm almost near 5,000 subscribers. Would love to hit that. So if you haven't subscribed, can I please guilt trip you and for you to do it right now? Just drop what you're doing and just subscribe. It'd be greatly appreciated. And drop me a line in the comments. I'm going to bring some of these comments up in a little bit and answer some questions at the end. I really appreciate any engagement. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so next up is Adele. She's releasing her next single, Oh My God, off 30. And I'm particularly excited about this because this is one of my favorite songs off of 30. And admittedly, it took me a second to get into 30. At first, I was just like, I just am a big fan of 25. So I was like, oh, I don't know. But the more that I've kind of like let it sink in and let it digest, I've really begun to love these songs. And I just know that in a few years' time, I'm going to really look back with fond eyes and ears at this time of playing this album. Personally, this is just a little side note. I'm having a really good time in life right now. And so it's nice to be able to soundtrack this album, even though it's a divorce album in many ways, a lot of heartbreak and a lot of pain, but I'll still always associate this album, I think, to 2021 and 2022. So here's the little teaser that she released. Alrighty, hopefully YouTube doesn't catch that for any sort of copyright thing. YouTube, hook me up, okay? I'm curious to know what your favorite song off 30 is. Drop me a line in the comments. I know I sound like a broken record, but I'd love to hear from you, and I'm gonna respond to every single comment that's left after this live stream has concluded. As the live stream is going, just drop me a line. Next up, I'm super excited for her. Billie Eilish is reportedly headlining Coachella. And if she does indeed do this, she will become the youngest female artist to have ever done this. And it's obviously a milestone. It's groundbreaking. And I always root for her because I think she achieved superstardom, like immense superstardom, especially with all of her Grammy wins a number of years ago at such an early age that I think that fame could potentially rock somebody, in a really negative way. And she's really been able to keep her head on her shoulders throughout all of this. And so this is the topic that you're looking at. I fired off on Tuesday. And it essentially says she replaced Travis Scott, obviously because of the whole devastating tragedy that recently happened. It remains to be seen. It's still unconfirmed at the time of me doing this live stream, but fingers crossed that this is indeed true, that this report turns out to be accurate. Who knows if Coachella is going to delay, which leads me to our very next item, which is the Grammys. Unfortunately, or fortunately, I'm not quite sure what I think about it, but they have reportedly delayed indefinitely due to COVID. So here I'm going to pull up this latest news report, and essentially they're just worried that artists are backing out. Too many artists are backing out right now because of COVID, and they are just not willing to risk putting on an award show if nobody's going to go. It's going to be held at the former Staples Center, Bitcoin.com Center, something like that, which is another interesting tie into cryptocurrency, which I just mentioned. So my personal 2 cents on this. Number one, I personally don't love covering award shows for BreatheHeavy. So there's that. So I actually felt a little relieved that this was being delayed because I don't like award season. Like right now, January, February is award season. Way back when I was doing news stories on BreatheHeavy and writing in WordPress before this whole community aspect, before I really leaned into it, I was doing all this stuff. I just dreaded it. I would actually go to these award shows. I went to the VMAs. I went to the American Music Awards. I went to all of these different things, Billboard Music Awards, like iHeart. And I would go and do the red carpet, not actually walk the red carpet, obviously. I would have like a reporter position on the red carpet. And I just didn't like it. I felt like I worked so much, it would take away my entire weekend. And then I didn't have really much to show for it. A lot of these artists would only want to talk to People Magazine, or they didn't want to talk to Breathe Heavy, even though Breathe Heavy gets, not to brag, but Breathe Heavy gets like 1 million people per month plus. So it is what it is. So anyway, I'm not too disappointed about this. I'm a little relieved. And also the other side of things is like, I don't know. I just think millennials and these kind of younger generations, the whole notion of award shows has really kind of gone by the wayside. Award shows way back when, I sound like a grandpa, but when we were younger, that was like our opportunity to see, these artists that we looked up to. And now we see them all the time. And we see, for example, Britney, like bearing all. It's like we see so much of them, literally. So that whole like element of surprise and just the dawn, the evolution of the internet, how it's really hard to keep secrets, so things just end up leaking. And I just feel like award shows is just a bunch of like rich and famous people patting themselves on the back. Now, that's not to say that there isn't amazing work put out and it deserves to be recognized. So I see both sides of it, but from a consumer standpoint, I'm just like, we're good. So it is what it is. Last but not least, this is kind of wild. Oh shoot, you know what? I did this again. All right, there's the right banner. Look, it's my third live stream. I'm just waiting a couple months from now. I'm gonna be so smooth. Last but not least, Jason Derulo. Jason Derulo. You're welcome for that. He literally got into a physical fight and aggressively punches a couple guys because they called, I shouldn't laugh. It's not funny. But they called him Usher. And I'm going to actually show you this. I'm going to show you a quick little clip of it. Because it's wild. This is like, Kim, there's people that are dying kind of thing. I don't know why he got so sensitive about it. Just here's what goes down.
Why you slap him, dog? Hey, yo, why you slap him? Hey, Usher. Why you slap him? Why you slap him? Why you slap him? Why you slap him? Dude. Hey, yo.
Just chaos ensues. Let me fast forward. It happens again. There he is. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's just, it is what it is. I don't have too much commentary on it. I just think control your emotions a little better, Jason Derulo. Maybe he's just having a really bad day, but I don't know. I don't think it's so horrible to be called Usher. Usher is a living legend, an icon. So I just think it just wasn't a good look. So anyway, I'm going to just pop up a couple comments. Let's see who makes it. So someone's like, so this is actually pretty funny. Because yes, Breathe Heavy back in 2014 expanded beyond the realm of Britney Spears. Although, as you can see, she's still a very huge focal point of Breathe Heavy. Most people go to Breathe Heavy to read about Britney, but I do think it's important personally to kind of expand beyond Britney Spears news and cover some other items. But I do feel you. I know that Britney's like the HBIC. She's my living legend, my queen too. So I totally understand. But I do appreciate you leaving a comment, Caleb. Thank you. Someone's talking about me bringing receipts. That's right. I think when I said the 1 million people per month, just a fun fact, Facebook in November and some of December in a 30-day span reached almost 25 million people. Like that figure is just staggering to me. I can't even really wrap my head around it. So like, that doesn't even include Twitter or Instagram, which has its own following. So Breathe Heavy's doing pretty good. I'm pretty proud of it. Let's see what else we got here. If you want to drop me a comment real quick, I might be able to get it onto the screen. Someone's commenting on Britney's NUDE photo. Maybe teaching her sons a lesson. I think that's kind of a little bit of a strange way to do that. But I don't know. It's interesting to hear everyone's kind of perspective on everything. Another one from Gregory. Maybe she turned off the comments. So her mom couldn't comment anymore. I mean, I that's possible. Who knows? I don't know about that. Anyway, appreciate all the loves. Appreciate all the love. Almost 100 comments in this live chat. That's super awesome. Ooh, that one. Yeah, here's a good point. So when other celebrities do this, I think there's not as much outrage, but for some reason in particular, Britney just stirs up this energy so quickly. It's been really interesting having a website mainly about Britney all these years, because in some, by proxy, it's helped me also achieve success because of her star power. And it's something I'm very grateful for. If I ever had the chance to thank her in person for allowing me to have Breathe Heavy and just always being so cool about it, that would be such a great thing I'd love to do, and just shake her hand and thank her. Yeah, it's been interesting, that she can kind of create this controversy, and you'll have Kim Kardashian post something like that, and it's like, I mean, I guess Kim Kardashian did get a lot of heat for that photo a few years ago. And here's another comment from Gregory about Jason Derulo and an obvious piece of trash. I mean, honestly, I like Jason Derulo. I always see his TikTok videos and all that. I don't know what got into him, but anyway, it is what it is. Appreciate all the all the comments coming in. Thank you so much. Greatly appreciated. And with that, thank you for watching this live stream. This is the third one. I'm excited to do another one. I'll try to get a little more consistent. If you're still watching, just hats off to you. It's greatly appreciated. It's been a huge honor to do this for you today. Let me know what you think in the comments. I know I sound like a broken record, but I really would love to hear from you. It honestly, as cheesy as it sounds, gives meaning to my life. It gives me purpose. It just is a driving factor and something I love to do. So I'm here for you if you need anything. And thank you so much. And with that said, I'm out. Have a great rest of your week. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you on the flip side. Bye. I should probably hop off, shouldn't I?